Hi, and welcome on Fly Fish Fly Tying. Today I want to show you this wonderful video tutorial on tying the Nayat Baitfish. So technically the Nayat is snowshoe rabbit hair, which is a very nice fiber. So yeah, you do the ground winding. I use a very resistant thread. So as always, you find the description of materials at the end of the video. So once you work with these natural furs, they have underfur, which you need to comb off to make your footprint on the hook shank a little less thick. So you will do technically 3 colors of Nayat here. I tied in the length the overall fly should have. So you see this is very long fiber. So there is a lot of different qualities you will see in that video, because I change the piece of Nayat I have in white, and then it's a total different texture of the material. I wouldn't say it's higher or less quality, but it's a different quality. So I think both are very good, but for different things. So building this fly, you want to have a little more curled hair, which helps you building a bulky shape at the head, and technically also, why you tie the back part of the fly, so towards the tip of the hook. You want to have that getting more and more bulky to the head, so that it drains, or that it pushes water once you strip it through the water. So yeah, white layer of Nayat, then tie in some flesh. So as you know, I prefer not much flesh, so you can use this fly for Pike, Musky, so I would say also maybe Zander, Walleye. And then for sure for saltwater fishing, I think this is for Seabass or striped bass. I guess this is a pretty good fly. So I tie it on an Eric's hook, which is saltwater resistant, which I pretty much like. And yeah, it's a very nice strong hook. So may even for small tuna, albacore, I guess this fly would work. So you secure every layer of hair you tie in with some super glue, so to make sure that this really sits tight. So if your thread, why due to tooth of the fish may gets damaged, so that your fly still keeps the shape and you can catch a couple of fish before it starts losing the hair and shape. So here I tie in some dubbing, and it's a gold flash dubbing. As said, material description at the back, and I measure a little the length, so I want to make this layer a little shorter, and I tie it in like the tip first to the eye of the hook, and then I will bend that to technically the tail of the fly, and you will see how I do that. Cut that off, close here, hide a little the material you put in. And I'll give it another layer of the chartreuse Nayat. And you see this is very, very long fiber. So that's what I mean. There's different, patches with different lengths of hair. And then the white is not as long. And you see there is underfur. But so I want to keep part of the underfur and, pull off the very long fibers, because this would give a very slim footprint of the fly. And I want to have it a little more, bulky. Yeah, so you see I can brush off a lot of material here, and I will time-lapse step after this, because I think you see it here how I do that, and then you can replicate that a second time. Cut it off close to, and then I have nothing to push back the hair here, so I do it with the fingers, which is I think a little less effective than doing it with a tool. So you want to make sure that this is at least adjusted to where you want to have it, and that your thread comes up in front of the material towards the eye of the hook. So because you don't want to tie over the hair you tie in, because you want to make that spread up a little bit to build a better shape in the water. And you see here the material goes back, but you can tie a little a little bucket in front of thread bucket in front of the hair so that it keeps more and more staying in the position and gets flatter and flatter. So, but you don't want to tie over the material because you don't want to have it standing in flat. This, I think, is not overly critical, so it will not totally ruin your fly, but I think this way it looks better. Yeah, give it a little more flash, so you see 3 fibers of the flash material, not more, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4. So depend on how much flash you prefer in your fly, but you want to have that just giving a little glimmer when you strip this fly through the water. Yeah, here I put the super glue on the thread, pull back the hair again, and put it on the bulb towards the hair, so this will secure your hair a little bit in the shape you want to have it. And the super glue does a good job in doing that too. So you return again. Yeah, I use my dubbing needle here to do this a little more to my satisfaction. Anyway, I was, I think, not overly satisfied. But yeah, that's fly tying. So you take your time to do what you have to do. And I will not cut this out or something in the videos, because I want to show you real fly tying, not, real hobbyist fly tying. Let's say it that way. I'm not a professional fly tyer or whatever, but yeah, you want to make sure that this. So, and now you see this is a different patch of the Nayat, and I time lapse it a little faster so that you don't need to stay too long on this video. But yeah, this is very non-curled hair, very straight hair, and it's a little more like a brushy, so a little more resistant and less flexible than the curled material. And you will see what happens now. So I really struggle to push this back because it's yeah, stronger fibers and not that easy fluffy fibers as the material I used before. For the head, I will use another patch, more like the material you saw tying me in the beginning. And you see, I really struggle to keep it in place. It's worse than bucktail, to be honest, in this case. Yeah, but you will see at the end I get it, and then I will finish my fly. Forgive me for this stuff, but I think it shows you what can happen and what you may struggle with, because you see me using Nayat, so you may buy a patch of Nayat and then you have this kind of material. You'll see, I may want to help you to find the right choice. So both are great materials, don't get me wrong. But for this type of fly, I really prefer the little more curled one. So because you see, this is very, yeah, very resistant to my tying technique here, and yeah, pushes back and back and back towards the head of the fly, which yeah, I'm not overly satisfied. So one more layer of flash, not more than, and I put it on the top again. So you saw the one before, I put it more left and right of the fly. So then also some super glue, and now you will not use your dubbing anymore, because you will see you want to create some kind of a bulky shape of the fly. And I will show you how I do that here, but I don't want to have an extra layer because I need to glue in my. So I take the Nayat and I technically try to taper a little bit the end where I cut the material from the patch, so that it is a little tapered, and then I tie that in backwards again. But this time I will not cut it. I will leave it in, so because this gives a little more bulk, more water pushing material towards the head, which you may want to have specifically for pike or something, so that it pushes water and the fish, even muddy water, can feel the fly a little more. Yeah, I think this is an easy one, and I want to have a brown back of the back of the fly. So you see me tying in two types of material for the back of the fly. So one is a brownish brown, maybe olive, dark olive color of the Nayat, and I cut this short because I want to keep, I would just want to have it as an overlayer over the chartreuse hair. And then I take another bunch of the chartreuse colored Nayat, and you see I do the same. I taper it, and I did taper it, and then I tie it in tight. Yeah, here you may want to use some super glue to secure the hair in the tying position. I think I didn't, but let me see. Maybe I did. No. So I comp out the little more of the fur, the under fur. You see, it's a very curled and stick together. So I just want to fluff it up a little more and, you know, get out the stuck material, because I even found it's a little too much material. So yeah, and you see me stroking the fly, so this gives me an impression on how it looks later. So sorry for doing this, so, but I like pushing back the material and, you know, imagine the shape the fly gets. Yeah, you see it's a little tricky to get the material back, and now you just build technically what you always did, a little bulk with your thread in front of the hair. Yeah, it's good if you can hold it. You can use a hair clamp or something, so I may will try that in one of the next videos. Okay, put your head, and then you want to give it on the thread some super glue to secure your whip finish. As I did before when I showed you how to secure the hair, keeping the position backwards once you fold it back. And you see now you have a very nice bulky shape of the fly at the head, and it really tapers out nicely to the end of the fly, to the tail of the fly. Yeah, give it some more, you know, you want to keep the material staying a little stronger, so use your super glue as I indicated before. Pull it back, tie it in, looser wraps by this. So if you build the bulk, it's a little looser wraps, don't pull too much on your thread, and then once you go back to the eye of the hook, here an example, you can apply a little more force to your thread. Yeah, so you whip finish it, cut off, and then we glue in the eyes. So I will not use super glue, I will use UV resin. And what I technically do is first I look a little at the shape, you know, comb off a little more material, and it starts really looking nice. I will wetten this a little bit so that it keeps more like in a wet position. Okay, you see I did it. I don't want to go too much in detail how I did it. Okay, and now you want to keep the material as you may, you know, some kind of your head shape later, and you put a drop of your UV resin where you want to place your eye, and you use these adhesive eyes. So in this case it's 10mm eyes. Yeah, you see I give it a little bigger drop, so not too less. What you also can make, you can work the UV resin a little bit into the fibers. I don't do it here because I do it a little later. So I place the eye, and once I have it where I want to have it, I apply pressure, so to flatten the head between the eyes. So I really like this because later this makes it easier to, you know, when the fly is pulled, stripped to the water, to give it the shape you want to have. And now you see the fibers are staying better in place. So I do the same on the opposite side, so on the other side. And I rotate the vise a little more, I think, so that hopefully you can see a little better what I do. So give it a spot of UV resin, let it go a little into the fibers, place your eye, make sure the eyes are as even as you can get them on both sides. So check this a little, so you have time once you're not cured the resin with your lamp, so that's fine. Apply pressure and cure the resin. So now what I really figured out, keep the head a little bit in the position you want to have it, shape it on where you want to have it, apply not too much glue, a little bit, work that a little bit into the fibers. Yeah, you see that here. Give it a little time to suck into the fibers. Make sure there is a layer between both eyes. So this also helps you to secure your eyes a little better. And then cure with your lamp. And you see now the head gets a very nice shape because it stays where you want to have it. So it gives the head the position. You do the same on the belly side of the fly. And you can go further with the UV, so you can cover the full eyes. I In this case, I want to have the material as fluffy as it can stay, so I don't want to have too much. So I will adjust a little here to really make sure that the thread is covered by UV resin too. I cut off a little these fibers which came up. Honestly, it's the short fibers, to make it a little cleaner. You know, apply more resin where I see I should apply more, but I don't want to do too much. So just that you know that. And have in mind, while you apply the glue on the fur, it drains in, it goes in, so sometimes it runs a little back into your fly body, which I try to avoid here a little bit, why not to apply it over the ice, so technically not that the 1 centimeter of the ice is really covered. Yeah, and so this is a thin resin, so I think every known UV resin company currently has a thick and a thin. This is the ultra thin, so I don't know what it's called, bone dry, whatever, from Solaris here, which is like a vanish. You have seen that in other videos too. It's also in the material description. Yeah, you cure it, and then I secure the whole head with a layer of this. What it does is that it takes off the stickiness, because there's the adhesives who make the chemical reaction on drying the UV resin. They get a little sticky on the outside. And you want to, so this is, you can put in clear vanish, or you do it with this type. This does not stick as much. So yeah, the fly is ready and ready to fish. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscription, so you will see coming up more video tutorials on how to tie nice flies. I really like that one. Very nice fly, very nice shape. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.